I was 7. You know, when you're 7, what influences you? Stuff that you see on TV. So my dad was into Bruce Lee movies. And he'd sit down and watch Bruce Lee movies on TV, and I'd sit down with him. And after the movies, I used to, you know, get up and imitate the movie and kick high and, you know, do all that kung fu things. And one day he said, okay, before you break something in the house, let me take you to a class. The first class he took me was judo. I did like 2-3 classes of judo and I didn't like it. And my dad was persistent, so he took me to a karate class. And I found myself there right away. And this is how I started. I started with karate. When I started, I was living in South America, and we were living in Ecuador for 6 years. Since the age of 4 to the age of 10. At the age of 7, I picked up karate. When I knew that I was going to leave Ecuador, come back to Israel, I automatically felt like, okay, something is going to be missing out of my life. It was the karate. And I knew that I was going to have to find a gym, a school in Israel that teaches karate and similar to the karate that I was doing back then. And when I arrived to Israel, this is what I did. I started searching. I was 10. When a 10-year-old is looking to do the same thing that he did somewhere else, he already knows that this is part of his life. All of my life, I stood out in the class. I was always like one of the more talented kids. All the time, I was a bit better, but they took me to a higher class. And I was always participating. I was like the young, talented kid in the bigger guys group. Somewhere around the age of 15 or 16, I became the big guy. I became the one leading the class. I became the assistant teacher after I became a teacher. Right there, I knew that, okay, this is something that I'm going to be doing all of my life as a teacher. I already have something in my hand that I'm going to be into my whole life. But that's completely different than being a fighter. In those days, martial arts were kind of weird. You know, everybody was saying, our style is the best. No, our style is the best. No, our style is the best. No. You don't know what you're talking about. We punch like this. No, we punch like this. No, we punch like... No one could measure. One day, we read in magazines about the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We read about this Brazilian guy bringing the art of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and he was submitting everyone with under a minute, and you know, like, wow, what the hell is this thing? Where can we learn this thing? There was no internet back then. So we just had the magazines, but we didn't know anything. And one day a friend of mine, one of the guys in the group, came back with a tape. I got the Ultimate Fighting Championship too. I said, whoa, what is it like? He said, well, you know what, it's not that good. You know, it's kind of weird. The guy is grabbing onto the guys and he's falling with them to the ground. And you don't understand what they're doing and they tap out. It's, you know, it's kind of lame. Really? Alright, let me see, I gotta see it. And I'm looking at it and I say, that's strange. That's in my head. I'm thinking that's not like Jean-Claude Van Damme is doing with the kicks and Bruce Lee doing with a spit and Steven Seagal doing. It's really different. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking at this stuff. And we started imitating what he was doing in the class, in the ring, in the cage actually, inside the class. And we were already kind of exploring judo. So we were doing karate and let's go and learn a little judo so we know what to do if a judo guy gets a hold of us. So then I started practicing what I was seeing the Royce Gracie, the Brazilian Jiu Jitsu guy, doing in those tournaments. I was trying to practice that on judo guys. It took me a long time to succeed, but eventually I did. I got the principle, I got the idea. I didn't know a lot, I just kind of understood a little bit. That's how we learned in the beginning the whole, you're saying MMA today, but back then there was no MMA. It was styling and style. It was just like a video game. I'll take you with your karate, you and your boxing, you and your wrestling, you and your judo, you and your this and that. Make a tournament and the best guy will win. Guess what? Royce Gracie won all the time. All the time. And that was like magic to me. I needed to know that. It was not a professional sport yet. It was just a spectacle. It was just like a bloodbath. It was bringing people in no holds barred. It was not the rules that we have today. It was no rules. No time limit, no weight classes, nothing. Just eight guys coming in, randomly selected, no weight categories. Okay, you fight him, okay, go to the next round, until you have a chance. So, Royce Gracie was the hero. He was the hero. He was a small guy beating everybody. And if you wanted technique, you look at Royce and you want to be like him. After that came Ken Shamrock, which was a big, huge powerhouse that knew stand-up fighting and ground fighting. He was like the first guy over there that was kind of like hybrid fighter. So I kind of admired him as well. But things progressed and you started seeing people a little bit more cross-training. So maybe if you're asking me the guys that I later on really admired, then I'd probably say Marco Ruas, the Brazilian guy, came in around UFC 7, and he really had the solid stand-up fighting and ground fighting. And then you had Victor Belfort coming in, and you had Maurice Smith coming in, and you had Frank Shamrock exploding, and you had so many guys that it was not the level we have today. It's not even close. But the guy that had a little bit of this and a little bit of that back then had such a big impact. The time that I became professional is you can't really. It's not like today. My first professional fight was July 2000. In the United States, I was living in the United States. I went there to live there with the dream of one day fighting in a cage and holding a belt. To tell you that I wished to be professional, I didn't know what professional was. I just wanted to do that. I saw that and I wanted to do that. So that was the first fight was July 2000, and I got paid $100 to fight and another $100 to win. A guy named Aaron Jerome, he became a rival of mine. We had 3 fights, like back and forth all the time. 4 fights actually. I won 2, he won 2, and it was like a grudge between us. And we were superstars from the beginning. First fight, boom. These 2 guys, man, zing to the top. And we had a story behind us, and everybody who watched our fight could see, okay, there's a story behind these 2 guys. These guys do not like each other. Anybody who is in the sport, the name is given to them. Okay, nobody chooses his own nickname. If you choose your own nickname, it's kind of lame. I'm gonna be the Superman of it. No, come on. Somebody gives it to you based on your character. Now, what I was gonna do the first fight, the guys from the gym, as a joke, it was a joke. They said they wanted to do it like a poll. Okay, we're gonna give him a nickname. It's gonna be either the Mad Moyle, the Crazy Rabbi, or the Hebrew Hammer. And we were laughing, and one guy said, the Hebrew Hammer is good, the Hebrew Hammer. So they said they made a small flyer just inside the room, and it was a joke for inside the gym. I fought once, twice, 3 times, then I became kind of close to the manager because I was good. They wanted to promote me more. And one of the guys from the gym came up to the promoter and told him, we have a nickname for him, it's the Hebrew Hammer. He said, oh, I like that. I said, no, you're not using that. That's a joke. You're not using that name. Yeah, I'll be using it. Come on, man. I'm warning you, you're not using it. I said, okay. And then I'm gonna come into the ring, and they announce me, Ido, the Hebrew Hammer Pariente. I go, oh, crap. I go in and I win. And I tell the guy, okay, don't do that again. Yeah, no problem. That was a one-time joke. Then I go in for the second time, I said, Ido, the Hebrew Hammer Pariente. Oh, again, I go in and I win. The third time, Ido, the Hebrew Hammer Pariente. And I said, hey, I like that. That sounds good. Always proud to lift the flag wherever I go. I never did it, you know. Now there's sports that are from the government, like judo, like Jiu Jitsu now. You have wrestling, you have boxing, you have kickboxing that is like in the Olympics or the World Games. So the country helps sports, have the teams, everything. And when you go to those official tournaments, you have the national anthem if you win, you have the flag if you win. It's like an obvious thing. It's like an ambassador job. I look at it as an ambassador job, but this is regulated ambassador. When I did the stuff, when I did the tournaments, the fights, I was never supported by anyone. I raised the flag not for the country, but I raised the flag for the people. It's a different state of mind. It's like sometimes the people, like if you're in politics, I don't like what's going on in politics in my country, but I still like my people. I raise my flag not for the politics that I don't like. I raise my flag for my people. And this is what I was looking at. This fight right here. I remember this fight. I rose the flag and I made so many good friends after that. They just saw the flag. Oh man, that's my man. That was in It's a guy called דיבר. It's in the middle of my career, just after I won the first title of Desert Combat. A friend of mine managed to hook up that fight for me, and fighting with the flag in New York. New York has a lot of Jewish people. One of those guys is a chiropractor who made Aliyah to Israel, and he's a very good friend of mine right now. And he named his kid after me. So, a lot of good things happen when you raise the flag and then people see it. Oh, when I was living in the United States, I had nothing on my mind, just training and fighting. When I came back to Israel, I knew nobody knew Jiu Jitsu, nobody knew MMA, nothing. So I had to teach people, train people to make them good enough to be my sparring partner. That's how it all started. And it escalated. You just have to have a passion for it, just a desire to do it, and know your goals. That's it. You have to know exactly what you want to do. If it's for pleasure, for fitness, or for being a competitor, or for being a professional fighter. It's, you have to know exactly where you want to go. And with me and my experience, I know I can get you to each any one of those paths that you need. Man, it's one of those situations where you're faced with a challenge of what now? How do I defend myself and the gym again? And I can tell you that I did a good job with myself and the gym, and I can see the results. People are coming back. Some people are still scared, but the main thing that I want to let everybody know is I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. You want to come back to train, or we're here. You want to come back later? We're here. You want to just talk to me to see what you can do? Yeah, I'm here. Anything. And this is the thing. As far as opening new gyms, I've been there. I've had 9 branches at one point in my life. It's not a focus that I want. I want to focus on one place, maybe 2, to develop, have more energy to develop in the guys in that one gym or 2 gyms. Possibly something in maybe in London. If the opportunity arose, maybe if it was profitable and logical, logical in terms of how do I run the gym or what do I bring to the gym that is so far away, how many times do you have to travel there. Maybe if the opportunity was right, I would do it.